Do you know your core values? Right off the top, can you say them? One, two, three. And if you don't, how are you able to live a life of integrity? I know that seems like a really contentious way of asking you the question, but I'm going to explain. My name is Darren Stehle. I'm a thinker, writer, podcaster, and I'm a coach who empowers LGBTQ plus change makers and creatives to embrace their uniqueness and become inspiring, impactful leaders. So, core values. You might have a sense of what they are, but maybe you haven't done the work to write them down and to actively use them in your daily life to make very important decisions, like what you stand for, why you support a particular political party, how you make major decisions in your life. That's what I would define as integrity, knowing what it is that gives us the greatest meaning, that makes us feel like our most authentic selves, and being able to use that as a forcing function to decide about our choices and our morality, in a sense, because your core values are going to be really representative of what's most important to you and how you want to show up in the world. And how we show up in the world is representative of meaning, what's meaningful, and the way in which we're going to act to live in accordance with what's most meaningful to us. Seems like I'm talking around in a lot of circles, but let me make this clear. Without values, without knowing what's most important to you, it can be challenging to create long-term life plans. If you don't know what's most important to you, then you can't make choices based on integrity. Values are like a compass, and it keeps you on the path, your true north to accomplishing your most meaningful goals and dreams and being accountable to the things that you really believe in. And values, from a neuroscience perspective, they provide prediction and response. They provide us with a kind of certainty, meaning we know that if this happens, then this is the way in which we're going to act or respond. Okay, so we have no control or prediction about what happens in the world outside of our brains, right? Whether a tree is going to fall, whether a building's going to blow up. I'm being really kind of catastrophic here. Whether somebody's going to stop you on the street and go, "You look gorgeous today." We just don't know what's going to happen in the world. But when you know what's essential and what's meaningful to you, well, then you're able to skillfully respond because you have the capacity to make a choice about what's important. And then you're going to take actions that are in alignment with who you want to be. Okay. And the only thing you can control is, in truth, some of your choices. Some of our choices seem like choices, but they're being driven by other programs that make us work as human beings and function in the world. But the choices that you can control, if you make those decisions that are aligned with your values, then you're creating in the world a kind of a prediction that increases the certainty and manages your stress, makes you feel calmer, makes you feel like you're certain about who you are when you walk into different situations and different environments. Now, to make this realistic and sounding true, let me share with you my core values. Acceptance, peace of mind, I sometimes call that contentment, and freedom. Let me go through each one. For me, acceptance is unconditional love for myself, and it shows up as personal responsibility, humility, and compassion. Acceptance cultivates open-mindedness. So if I'm not feeling very self-accepting, if I'm not living that value, I'm going to be more judgmental. I might have more prejudice in the moment. Acceptance, when I'm living that value, gives me more understanding of others and of situations. It also helps me act in a more yielding and flexible way to challenges as they show up in my life. So it might give me that awareness to go, okay, I don't know what's happening here, but let me try and understand and let me see how I can manage this without presuming too much. So in a sense, accepting external situations for what they are, but then trying to determine how am I going to respond. The value of acceptance actually increases and fosters my peace of mind, my personal freedom, and my happiness. So peace of mind, my other core value, is the single most impactful emotional state for my overall well-being and my ability to thrive. Contentment helps me feel grounded. It makes me feel rooted. It makes me feel calm. It also encourages and elevates emotions like joy, and happiness, and playfulness, and curiosity. Those are wonderful states of experience to enjoy, right? Peace of mind for me cultivates acceptance. If I'm feeling calm about myself, my reactionary brains are at peace. I can use my rational brain to be more understanding and accepting and open-minded and thoughtful and impartial, non-judgmental and non-contentious. That to me, that like, listen to those words. Showing up in that way is an expression of a certain kind of morality, of open-heartedness and kindness and compassion and understanding towards others, which has to first start with ourselves. And finally, my third core value, freedom, which freedom's a complicated word, but for me, it's living in alignment with my purpose and my potential. So the more I'm free of self-imposed limitations, believing what I can't do, the greater my peace of mind. You see how all of these values play upon each other? When I feel safe and secure in who I am, when I am free of unnecessary restrictions upon myself, whether those be ones I put upon myself or the outside world, that's the cornerstone of happiness. So freedom also equates with greater happiness than the ability to cultivate more happiness in my life. And freedom is how I show up in the world as an out gay man, as a queer thinking person, doing my best. I'm not always perfect, but doing my best to respect the freedom and dignity of others. Did any of that resonate with you? I'm sure these values are fairly universal for a lot of people, but you may have a different word or something that's far more meaningful and important and is really a driver in your life. So if this is something you're fascinated by, and if you want to discover how to define your unique core values to really elevate your decision-making, your prediction and response, and to live a purposeful, meaningful, and happier life, let's connect. Let's have a conversation and find out how you can define those values and make better choices that are in alignment with how you want to show up and enjoy, at least from my perspective, greater happiness, contentment, and acceptance in your life. I'm Darren Stehle, and speak with you soon.